Hi everybody, it's me, Mr. Alex, and in today's video, we're going to be continuing off of Unit 5 in the Level 1 Google training. In Unit 5, we talked about things like Google Calendar and Hangouts, and in this is really like part 2 of that unit, we're going to be looking at how we can add teleconferencing, or basically video chat meetings to a meeting, and how we can make your meetings a little bit more effective. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to be starting in Google Drive here. And when we have a meeting, I recommend that we start with a Google Doc. And the Google Doc should really have our agenda on what we can talk about and perhaps our meeting minutes as well. So what we would have to do is probably start by creating a template. So I recommend that we start by creating a name that starts with year, month, then day, so that things are always organized in a very easy to way find based off of those things. First year, then month, then day inside the folder. I like to do a space, a dash, and a space, and I like to add a name to it. Let's say 7th grade meeting minutes, something like that. And we can use things like tables to insert a simple table. So it could be something like who, what, and maybe notes. It can be any way that you like. This is just one example of meeting minutes. So who could be the person who raises it. So it could be Alex M. What about Google training? And notes, I could write perhaps a bulleted list and say, come to room 321, covering Google Calendar, and bring a laptop. So perhaps your meeting minutes could be something short and sweet like that. Then maybe participants, when they're in this staff meeting with you, looking at the different items, they could simply highlight and they could even leave comments about each of the different items. So someone might ask, could I bring a Mac? So that would really bring your meeting to life, where people could be there in person or even just participating in your meeting online. And now that we've got this kind of document finished with all of our meeting minutes and our agenda items finished, we can close that. So let's just step back. Let's pretend like we haven't had our meeting yet, and now we want to invite people to our meeting, and we would like them to add items to our agenda that we just created. So what we would do is actually in Google Calendar, we would choose a time that we would like to hold it. So this is my actual calendar with all the different things I'm doing. So let's just choose a time. Let's just choose a random time for our meeting. I'm going to go into more options on this appointment. Okay, so now that I'm in it, let's first of all give it a title, just like we learned in Unit 5. Let's call it 7th grade meeting minutes. Cool. And the time and the day are fine for right now. Let's jump over to guests and let's choose all of those 7th grade teachers. So I'll choose Aaron O'Dwyer. I'll choose, who is the PE teacher in 7th grade? Oh yeah, Daphne. And maybe I could choose Ryan, the science teacher. Great, okay. So I could add all of the different people that might be participants. And we could just double check on finding a time. Remember we did that in the last unit. So it looks like for all people's calendars, like we can see all of their little faces there. Awesome. Everybody's going to be available during that time, assuming that they are keeping up on their Google calendars. Okay, cool. So let's click back over here with event details, and I'll just zoom in so it's not quite so small on your screen. Okay, so just like we learned back in Unit 5, we could add the room. So it's going to be in room 321. And I'm going to skip this one. I'm going to come back in just a sec. Notifications, those are fine. It's going to go to my calendar, and I'm going to be busy during that time. Perfect. So this little thing, add conferencing, when we click on that, it drops down this little option that says Hangouts Meet. Let's go ahead and click on that. So now it opened up this little thing that says Manage Details. Let's just jump right over over there. I'm going to zoom back out if it's going to allow me. See if I can zoom in a little bit. There we go. Control plus to the rescue. Okay, so we can see it's going to be in Hangouts meeting. And here is the link for it. So now I can actually email this to other people that I would like to be in our video conference. Or if people are busy and they're on the go, people could actually call in on this US-based phone number and they could just be participating over the telephone. They would need to use this special kind of PIN to also access it. Below it says this country number has been selected based on the conference creator's country setting. So you'd be able to edit that within your settings in your account. I'm not sure that there are accounts and phone numbers available around the world. We know that definitely the US would work. But if you're curious for your place in the world, you can go ahead and you can click for more information, or you can try adjusting your settings. Okay, so this all looks great. I'm going to go ahead and click done. Okay, I'm going to finish up with this calendar invite, and then I'm going to show you a little bit more about the Hangouts meeting option. Okay, so now when I scroll down to the bottom of my event, there's this awesome button that says Add Attachment, and it pops open the Google Drive window here. So under Recent, here is the thing that I just created with you, my 7th grade meeting minutes. Let's go ahead and select it. Okay, cool. Now, if I click Save, all of these people are going to get an invitation from me so that they don't get a weird email right now. I'm going to just remove them so that they're not surprised and wondering what I'm talking about here. But in normal situations, we would, of course, leave them. Okay, so I've got my attachment. I could even go over and write a quick description, say, "Hi, Ryan, Daphne, and Aaron. Does this time work for your schedules? Let's meet up and talk about our grade level agenda, which is attached. Please add any important items you'd like to cover." All right, great. So now I'm going to go ahead and click Save. There we go. It appears in my calendar, and I could adjust its color by right-clicking. I'll choose red to help it stand out a little bit. Okay, so now we're really done with the calendar side of things, but now remember how we added conferencing? Let's go and click on that one more time, and remember we could see that there is this little link. Let's go ahead and click on that thing, and it's going to open up this window. Okay, so we can see it's called Meet. Google has announced that they're going to be moving Hangouts into something slightly different, and we just have to kind of wait to see what that's going to look like. But Hangouts is likely going to be transitioning in the near future. But the cool thing with Meet is that we can have a bunch of people all together, all talking, and we can even share our screens with one another. So we can actually do presentations to other people that aren't even there, which is fantastic for teaching, for maybe even finding a sort of a pen pal school if you wanted to work with another school in another country and you wanted to collaborate on a project together, or maybe you could have students working one-on-one, or you know, the sky is really the limit. You could work with your students, you could work with other students, you could work with colleagues. There are so many different ways that you could utilize this. And my experience outside of education is that a lot of companies actually use this sort of thing. So by bringing this into your lessons and by training your kids and integrating this into your lessons, we're really doing them a service and kind of letting them see what it's like to be a professional today and kind of giving them some professional skills that they could utilize when they leave the academic world. So let's get into it. So we're in the 7th grade meeting minutes meeting in Google Meet. So I'm just gonna zoom in up there. Oh, it's not gonna let me zoom in on the address bar, but it's meet.google.com. All right, so are you in a conference room? Present to Meet. We're not gonna do that one. We're gonna click on Join Meeting. So we're just joining from our computers. This is assuming that everybody is on their own computer and they're presenting to one another. So we could hang up, we could turn off our camera, we could turn off our microphone, they're on by default. Over here, we can see that there's a little attachment. Remember what I did earlier? So when we look at this, the meeting details that we started in Google Calendar all carried over so we could see a lot more information. Well, where is it supposed to be? When is it supposed to be? How do we call in? Can we add someone? And also that attachment. So while we're talking, here are all of the important documents that you're going to need for this meeting. That's amazingly fantastic and so convenient. So just by clicking that, it's going to open up our Google Doc. Awesome. What a great way to work with other people and to communicate and collaborate. So let's see if I can just move my little video over to the other side of the screen. So we see a couple more buttons right here. Let's click on the three little dots and we can see that we can go to full screen. We can also adjust the settings. And that's great if you would like to choose a different webcam, microphone, or your speakers. There's also settings here. And under settings, the send resolution is what am I sending to the conference. So right now it's at 720. That's a fairly high quality, high definition video. I can bring it down to standard definition just in case my video is too slow or there's maybe too many people on my network eating up the network speed. And then maybe I'm having trouble receiving, so I could actually just turn it down to some slower options here, or I could even just go down to just hearing their sound of the voices. Okay, so I'm gonna actually switch it back to 720 because I think I'm fine. And there's this button that says Present Now. So under Present Now, you can share your entire computer screen. So whatever you have open is going to be presented. Or you could choose a specific window. Let's try both. Your entire screen. Okay, so notice how it's kind of like Inception. It's a mirror within a mirror, you know, like two mirrors facing each other. So when I click share, it's actually just gonna turn this off because it's getting a little bit wacky. So now everybody else would be able to see anything I do on my computer until I stop presenting. So I'm gonna stop presenting. Another option is under Present Now, a window. So when I click that, here are all of my windows I have open. So I had Twitter open in another browser window. I'll go ahead and share that. You might have seen it flash open really quickly, but it was my Twitter window that I have open right over here. So this is my professional Twitter page where I communicate with other teachers around the world. So maybe I wanted to share in a conference and talk to others about how to use Twitter and, ooh, get rid of that. And yeah, I wanted to share about how to use Twitter or maybe something cool that I had seen somewhere. So I'm gonna just actually jump right back on over and I'm gonna stop presenting. Okay, so that's Google Hangouts and that's how it integrates with Google Calendar. I hope you can use these tools in your classroom and it can help you and your students to enhance your communication. All right, thank you very much for watching. See you in the next unit for Level 1 training. Bye.